And also the Olympics are coming up in February. Do you expect any friendly international competition between crew members during those games?
Oh, yeah, I think so. You know, we've got the Japanese astronaut, we got 3 Russian astronauts, and then you got Mike and I from the United States. And I think there'll be some friendly competition, especially, maybe if the hockey teams, Russian and U.S. hockey teams meet head-to-head. That would be always interesting. Maybe we'll place a bet with some food items or something.
What kind of food items can you bet on? Do the Russians have something on their side that you guys might want versus?
Oh yeah, you know the key up here is getting something different every once in a while. When you're up here for such a long time, even though we do have a wide variety of food, it starts to get a little bit old. So anytime you can get something a little different, it's definitely a treat. So I'm sure the Russians have a lot of good food, and there's a lot of things that we have that they enjoy also.
Great. And which Olympic winter sport do you think would be the most fun to play in weightlessness?
Oh boy, it's hard to say about an Olympic sport in weightlessness, especially the Winter Olympics. You know, we don't have much snow up here, other than outside when we're doing a spacewalk like we had last month with the ammonia snowstorm. It's the kind of the thing we do up here is more like gymnastics. You know, when we're floating around and spinning around, you kind of feel like a gymnast, or how a gymnast must feel when they're doing those incredible feats. Of course, they have a lot more difficulty doing it in the 1G environment.
That's great. That actually leads right into a question that we got from a reader. Drive Hyman on Facebook asks how orientation works on the space station. So how do you keep yourself from being disoriented in microgravity?
Yeah, that's a good question, because there is no up and down here in space. And it's easy to get disoriented, especially if you start working and you start kind of putting your head inside a locker or behind a rack. Once you come out of that locker or rack, you're like, okay, where am I? And so usually what I do is I'll reorient myself to a kind of like a 1G orientation where the deck is the floor, and I put my feet on the deck, and then my brain kind of recognizes where I am. But a lot of times we float around sideways or upside down, and it's no issue. But every once in a while, I have to reestablish my orientation by just kind of getting my feet on the deck.
Great. And we have a question from Robert Perlman, the editor of CollectSpace.com, one of our partner sites. And he writes, the Olympic torch you and your crewmates had aboard the station will be seen by millions more when it's used during the opening ceremonies at the Games. So what message about the space station, or the symbolic connection between space and what message do you have about the space station and the symbolic connection between space exploration and the Olympics?
Well, that's easy. I think the key phrase is international cooperation. Both the Olympics and the International Space Station are great examples of what folks can do when they get together. All these different countries get together and kind of try to accomplish something. The Olympics are an incredible event. All these different nations from around the world get together to participate in the athletic events. And look at the International Space Station. Again, you got many countries from all around the world building hardware, and then we assembled it in orbit, and it had to fit together perfectly. So international cooperation is the key to being successful in anything.
Great. And I know that you won't be able to watch the Super Bowl live, but do you think you'll get a chance to watch some of the Olympic Games live?
Oh, yeah, I think so, very much so. We'll have some of the Olympic events sent up to us, tape delayed, basically. But we'll also get some live events. I think on the weekends, they will uplink a TV station for us, and of course we'll ask for the Olympic events to be sent up to us. So I think on weekends is a very good possibility we'll get to see some of the events live.
Great. And is there one that you're particularly looking forward to seeing?
Well, you know, I like all a lot of the events in the Winter Olympics, the speed skating and some of these different skiing events are pretty interesting to me. Anything where there's a lot of speed seems a little more interesting.